Middle school in France goes on for 4 years, and the 4th year, a lot of things are different, and there's some very specific things that happen that can be challenging if you don't know they're coming. This year is called Troisième because the years in French middle school actually count backwards. You start in 6th grade, then you go to 5th, 4th, 3rd, Troisième. And so why did we want to make a video about Troisième today, Juliana?
So when I was going into this year, I felt very unprepared and very behind all the other kids who their parents and their older siblings and understood the system and have gone through it before. So they could get help from their families, or they just had this information of how the year worked. But I had no idea, and I felt very out of place and very nervous to do things because I wasn't sure how anything worked.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's normal, right? So today there are 3 different things specifically. We're going to talk about each one sort of in chronological order as they happen through the school year. This isn't like a totally comprehensive discussion. Of course, different schools are going to vary a little bit in how things work and when, and you know, there's nuances, but you at least feel a little bit more prepared. Hopefully Juliana is like your French older sister who just went through all this and can give you the deets on what it's going to be like. First of all,
choosing your the high school you're going to go to.
Oh yeah, that.
So in France it's called your parcours à venir. So it's your future parcours. What's that?
I don't even know if we have an English word for that.
It's like a, no we do.
Your path. It's like
a pathway.
Your pathway to what you're going to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which is a big decision.
It is a big decision. We should quickly say that in France there's 3 different types of high schools. Mm-hmm. Right? And we're not going to go into those in depth, but this is why it's a big deal, because you don't, just like in the US, like all of your friends you just go to the high school you're assigned, right? Nobody thinks about this.
There's no thought about it. It's just like, okay, I'm going to high school, I'm going to whatever.
Wherever you live,
Yeah, but here you have to make the conscious decision. So you have to go to open doors days where you see the high school, and that starts early in the year. I mean, it might be in like October. Sometimes.
Summer and October. Some schools have 2, like fall and spring. A lot of them have them in February and March. Yeah. So you look for, on the school website, sometimes there'll be JPO. What that stands for?
Journée porte ouverte. Oui. So open door day.
Yeah, and it's just like an open house would be in the US. You can go, they show you things, you get to ask questions.
Well, you get to talk with students that have been there, which is really, really nice.
Yeah. So that is like part of the process. So you start to think about, because choosing a high school, there's different types of high schools in France. And again, this is like a whole nother video. But just know that this is coming, that you want to start thinking about this. And I would say even if you're new in the country, the year before, right?
Yeah, because there are high schools that have overlapping days. You might have to travel to see in high school.
We went to one school twice.
Yeah, and that's the school I'm actually going to.
Yeah, because we went the first year just when we were looking at lots of schools, and then we went back to make sure it was the school that you were like, yes, this is what I want. Yeah. So,
but also during the year, you're going to be able to talk with your teachers about what high school you're going to go to. There's going to be different. There are going to be different websites, and you're going to probably talk to people. You're going to have a career day in both Quatrième and Troisième. So you can kind of pick that'll have just high schools basically. There's not actual careers, it's just like the high schools come to your school, and then you can look at those and they tell you what it's like, especially ones that are farther away. So it'd be harder to go for an open door day.
So I think what we want you to know is that if you don't do anything, you will just get assigned to a high school in your area. So don't worry if you do nothing. But if you think you might want to do something different, a specialized program, then you'll definitely want to go high school shopping. To me, it almost feels like the same as when you're college shopping in the US. But there's websites, teachers will offer guidance. You just want to know early on that this is going to be part of what you want to do.
And you have until pretty late in the year to choose, even though some high schools you have to actually take entrance exams to get into, or things like that.
Even public ones.
Yeah, even like the one that I'm going to, I had to take an exam, an oral exam to get into the high school.
Yeah.
But some of them it's just like, your grades are great.
Done, right, yeah, but it's still, you have to go through the process. Okay, so number 2, what's the next thing that you start to think about in Troisième year?
So during your Troisième, you have a stage. So that is an apprenticeship, internship.
It's like a little internship.
Yeah. That you have normally in the winter months at some point.
Yeah, it's usually January.
January, February.
Yep.
Sometimes March, whatever. and you go for a week and you just do some apprenticeship.
So what's the purpose? And I think you want to talk about, first of all, what is it? What do you do for a week?
You go and do an internship at a, okay, I had mine in a bookstore. I went to a bookstore, which is on the channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I went there and I helped him for a week to learn how to kind of do his job and learned how to run a bookstore. And then after I did that for a week, I took notes the whole week and I had a pamphlet to fill out basically. And then I made a presentation and I presented to class for a grade. And it was just a grade.
Yeah.
And everyone did that, and there's lots of different ones you do. So people went to a veterinarian.
Yeah.
Somebody went to this place, like people went to their parents' jobs sometimes,
Yeah.
or
one of your friends went to the court. They knew a judge, and the judge agreed to let her sit on a court for the week.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different versions of a stage. So there's ones, if you're in like retail a lot of the time, you're just doing a retail job basically.
Yeah, hanging out at the store.
But if you have, if you're in a hospital, or if you're in a vet, or if you're in a tribunal, court, then you're either just going to be watching. It's a stage d'observation, so you're just observing it.
Yeah. Or
you're you're just observing.
Yeah, in some other cases where there's small jobs that you might be able to help with.
Like at the vet, they just have to clean all the time.
Yeah, or like you helped organize books, you did a lot of dishes.
Yeah. But that's a retail job.
Oh yeah,
so
okay.
I'm actually doing things.
So the idea is really that the hope is anyway, I think, is to give kids an opportunity to go and observe and investigate a métier, a profession that you might want to pursue in your high school career.
And don't worry if you don't get a stage, if you get a stage and you don't like the job or you don't see yourself doing it in the future.
Right.
You get lots of opportunities to do stages, and honestly, most people do some type of retail, some type of commerce job in Troisième, because it's just hard to find a stage in Troisième that they'll take you for more difficult or more jobs that need more studies.
I mean, ideally, if you can do something that relates to something you might want to do, that's amazing, but it's okay if not.
And important information.
Yes.
Everyone in the country is doing a stage.
At the
Maybe
same time.
it's a week apart,
Yeah.
but everyone in the country will be doing it within a month of each other.
Yes.
So you have to get your stage booked quickly. People who got stages they want did it the summer before Troisième.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of this stuff is based on family connection.
They don't arrange it for you.
Sometimes if you really beg your teacher, if you don't know what to do, then they will organize a stage with a local business if you live in a town with lots of businesses.
Yeah.
But it is harder to do in more rural towns.
And some people will tell you yes or no, but that's how you find them. And then, but yeah, I think you're right. You got to start working early on. And for us, initially you wanted to be in a hospital, and one of Dad's doctors was so nice. We asked her, because they have some positions in the hospital that they allow stagiaires, but it's usually children of the employees of the hospital that get them. And so it was full by the time we thought to ask her.
Plus, I mean, there's certain jobs that are just hard to get because of confidentiality reasons. Of
course.
I mean, not all patients want a bunch of 14-year-olds to be observing them.
Yeah.
So
of course. So, but it was fun. You enjoyed yours, right?
I loved being in the bookstore. So thank you, Dave, for having me. It's great. But it was really fun.
Yeah, and you did learn about how the business works, things. So it was nice. So I know when we're talking about this, it may sound stressful, but know that most people had fun experiences, and it really was a cool thing.
And you see everybody's presentations afterwards, and so it is really interesting to learn from those people other things you could do and how those things work, and actually see from a person your age's experience what it's like to work one of these jobs.
Yeah.
Especially because part of the presentation you have to show your parcours à venir, what that would
the
be.
path to become that profession.
You have to show it, or else it's
what was the point?
Yeah, you didn't even try. So you get to learn, how difficult each job would be, and it's interesting to watch presentations.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That was cool. And actually, you came home, and at dinner we would talk about everyone's presentation that day too. Yeah, so it was cool. Okay, so that is the stage. Now, what is coming? This is actually the big thing that everything builds to the whole year.
And you're going to start hearing about this when you get to 7th grade. It's all they're going to start talking about.
Yeah.
It's called the Brevet. It is standardized. It's like the first standardized testing you have.
Yeah.
And it is a big deal because it can really make or break getting into a high school you really want to. If it's not just like your lycée de secteur.
Oh yeah, just like the one you're assigned to. Like we said, you won't be high school homeless if you don't pick a high school. You're gonna go to the one that's just in your neighborhood, in your town, right? Like you would have automatically gone to one in Bergerac if you hadn't chosen something else. But your
anyways,
brevet score can affect.
And how the brevet works is it's split into 2 parts. The contrôle continu, which is all your grades for the whole year.
Okay.
Right? And then that's equal to 40% of your final grade. And then 60% of your final grade is the actual épreuve finale, your final testing.
Okay.
Which you have in sciences, math, history, French, and then you have an oral presentation.
Let's talk about the oral presentation first, because you had to start getting that ready earlier in the year. So how did the oral presentation work? Did you choose the subject? Did the teacher assign it? How long was it?
There's different things you can do. You can talk about your parcours à venir. And then you can also it's like a broad question, basically. You have a problématique, so it's like just a question.
Okay.
And then you create a PowerPoint, or you don't have to make a PowerPoint, but you make a presentation that's 5 minutes long about this question. So mine was how do political and world events in the last 200 years influence the way people dress? And so I had 5 minutes to talk about that, and then I had 10 minutes of questions afterwards from my jury, which are teachers from my school who asked me questions about my presentation.
So the presentation, you put it together, right? And then you do the presentation once.
Yeah, so you have they're called oral blanc, which is a mock exam, basically. And it's a mock oral, and you go and do your oral, and then you get like notes from your jury that you had, and then you go and tweak your presentation, and then you practice it for like a month, and then you go do it, and then you're done.
Yeah, and I think you did it at like late spring. It was
like March. I did my oral blanc, and then it was like June, I think, for my actual oral.
Because you choose the question, and sometimes you choose a question and you have to like get it approved, right?
Yeah. So you go through a multi-step approval process. Basically, you write your question thingy down, and then you put the subjects that it correlates to in school. So I put, I think, art, éducation morale et civique, so like social studies, and history. And then I wrote like a small summary of what my presentation would be about.
Okay.
And then my teacher was like, cool, I like it. And they gave me notes for how I could slightly change the question to make it make sense a bit more.
Yeah.
And then I just started making the presentation.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you had other people who they turned in their ideas, and then the teacher came back and said, okay, maybe, but what about this? Or
they like kind of changed it.
And then we get to the end, which is the actual test. So just talk about what that was like. How did it? You have
Brevet blanc, which is your mock exam, which the teachers make, but a lot of times they base themselves off of old brevets. And they grade you and they give you a score, and you get like a sheet that has what you would have gotten on the brevet, like with those scores.
Yeah.
And
so it gives you more time to recognize like areas that are weak that you want to study and pull up before the actual exam, right?
Yeah. And then you kind of, that's when like the panic sets in. And then you kind of start talking to your teachers and being like, hey, so I don't understand this at all. Please give me exercises.
Yeah.
And that's what the last like 3 months are like. Yeah. And then your very last days of school are the actual brevet. Like my last 3 days of school were just taking tests.
Yeah. You took 2 a day, right?
Nope. I took one day, then I went home. Then I took 2 another day, and then I went home, and then I took 1 the last day.
Yeah. So.
But sometimes it's 2 too. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm really glad they give you the Brevet Blanc, the mock exam, because I think also it because they do it in the same format with the same timing and everything to prepare you. So I think that helps a little bit going into the actual test, because it's, at least you know what to expect as far as like the format and all that kind of stuff.
The Brevet Blanc is normally so much harder than the actual Brevet, just because teachers always make it so much harder.
Oh, okay.
I got lower scores on, I think, all of my tests on the Brevet Blanc compared to my actual Brevet.
Okay.
Like 3 or 4 points higher on all my tests.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, except for French.
Do you think it's because it was harder, or because then you reflected and studied more? This is one of the things that when we first came, you know, the kids go to school. They don't get out of school in France until July and August is the summer break. And then they don't go back till like September 1st. So they will go to school through most of June. But what we didn't know, we would always see the last day of school was actually like July 4th or July. It was usually like that first week of July.
Yeah.
But every year she never had to go those days until Troisième, because now we realize actually those days, at least for middle school, is actually they're tacked on because the Troisièmes are testing, and most of the other kids will get out.
People will leave like a week before. They can't be bothered anymore.
Yeah, if you're in the lower grades.
I mean, there's no reason to come.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything.
Right.
So after the brevet, you get a paper that is from your high school. That's like, come to our school at this day, or one of these days during one of these times, and enroll yourself into the school. And you have to go in person to the school.
So I definitely was not expecting to have to complete your high school enrollment like in person in the days right after you took your brevet. I think like things that are normal to people here, like you don't think about telling someone like, don't go anywhere the week after you finished the brevet, because you're gonna have to show up somewhere to confirm your enrollment in person. You went through the entirety of middle school in France. Give me 5. I'm a proud mama. Is there anything that's changed or that you feel differently about? We've kind of interviewed you at several points along the way. Like, looking back now, is there anything?
Kind of no.
Yeah.
If there is, I think I've forgotten about it. I've deleted all my middle school experience that wasn't with my friends. It's gone.
She's moving on.
One thing that, sorry.
Wow. Okay.
That I thought of that is actually important. Well, it's not actually important at all. But that you have to do is there's a certification PIX. It's this like...
What?
I know, I've talked to you about this. You just forgot. But it's like a technology exam that you have to do, and you have to build your level of like, you get these PIX codes in I think Cinquième, and you just have to do exercises, and it's about like technology, like how to fill out Excel spreadsheets.
Okay.
And how to like download documents. It's honestly not that hard. How to send an email.
Is it just like in an app somewhere?
Yeah, no, it's like a online program thing.
Okay.
And you just have to like do courses.
Okay.
And don't put it off until 2 weeks before the test. It is a terrible idea. I'm not saying I did that, but it's a terrible idea. I have friends who did it. It's so awful because you're getting stressed for the brevet, because you do this test a month and a half before the brevet. It's really annoying because you're already stressed about the brevet, you're getting stressed about your oral, you're doing all this stuff, and then you have to do like 7 levels. You have to do like go to level 3 on like 18 different programs on this thing. So I did it the summer before I had Troisième, and it was so much easier to just do that summer.
Because it's not hard.
No, they're
it's gonna
so
take
easy.
your time.
It just takes a little time. It takes maybe like an hour and a half to like really finish it if you're gonna do like bare minimum.
Yeah.
But just do it before. Don't put it off. I know it sounds good to put it off, but it is actually awful.
Okay.
To put it off.
Okay.
So yeah,
good to know.
That's a thing.
I'm glad you remembered that because I didn't. Okay. Well, do you want to do Dad's part and say à bientôt since he's not here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bon courage. You have got this. And thanks for watching.
À bientôt.